ABC Learning Dhaka.
সুপ্রিয় দর্শক, এবিসি লার্নিং ঢাকা এর পক্ষ থেকে আপনাদের সবাইকে জানাই স্বাগত। আপনাদের অসংখ্য ধন্যবাদ। অডিট অ্যান্ড অ্যাসুরেন্স কোর্সটি আপনারা নিয়মিত দেখছেন এবং আপনারা এটি লাইক, কমেন্ট এবং সাবস্ক্রাইব করছেন, সেজন্য আমি আপনাদের কাছে বিশেষভাবে ধন্যবাদ জানাচ্ছি। আপনারা এভাবে সাপোর্ট দিলে আমি নিজে উৎসাহ পাব এবং পরবর্তীতে আপনাদের মতামতের উপর ভিত্তি করে ভালো ভিডিও তৈরি করতে পারব। তাহলে চলুন আমরা দেখে নেই বিগত পর্বে আমরা কী নিয়ে আলোচনা করেছিলাম। Dear viewers, in last part we saw the relationship between shareholders and the company and the management. That means we saw the agency theory or agency relationship, where we saw the conflict or the battle between the shareholders and the management of the company, and we showed you how to overcome such battle, and there is a party or third party, we can say secondary agent. The auditor plays very important role for overcoming such battles between the shareholders and the management of the company. And what is the role of the auditor, and what is the expectation of the shareholders, and what is the expectation of the management from the company, we showed you in details in last part. সুপ্রিয় দর্শক, তাহলে চলুন আমরা শুরু করি আজকের পর্ব। আর তার পূর্বে আপনাকে একটি অনুরোধ করব, সেটি হলো আপনি যদি নতুন ভিউয়ার হন তাহলে অবশ্যই চ্যানেলটি সাবস্ক্রাইব করে নিন, যাতে নতুন ভিডিও আসার সাথে সাথে আপনি নোটিফিকেশন পান, এবং শেয়ার, কমেন্ট এবং মতামত জানান, যাতে আপনার মতামতের উপর ভিত্তি করে আমরা নতুন ভিডিও তৈরি করতে পারি। ডিয়ার ভিউয়ার্স, we are discussing today types of assurance or level of assurance. This course is mainly designed for ACCA, CA and CMA students, and last part we talked about what is audit and assurance, and today I am showing you the types of assurance or the level of assurance. Before discussing this in details, let us see what is assurance. So if you see the definition over here, assurance service is an independent professional service typically provided by the chartered or certified public accountants with the goal of improving the information or the context of information so that the decision makers can make more informed and presumably better decisions. That I told you earlier, that means the shareholders may not have sufficient time to see the report of the company, or they do not know, or they do not have sufficient knowledge to understand the audit report or financial statement. That's why the assurance service provided by the auditor gives some assurance or some sort of confidence to the shareholders whether the company is operating well or whether the company is operating bad. So this is a kind of assurance. If you go to doctor, and if after investigating or after asking you some questions, the doctor will come to a conclusion whether your disease is major or minor, then the doctor will tell you if your disease is major, then he or she will tell you for further diagnosis, that means for some report or some test. And if he or she thinks that your disease is not major, rather minor, he will give you some assurance, okay, you are good. Then you are getting some confidence, yes, I got some professional opinion. So similarly, when the company shareholders get some opinion from the expertise or from the individual independent third parties, like from the auditors, they get some confidence regarding the company. Now we will see what type of assurances or the surety is given by the auditors. Here we see from the small assurance to bigger assurance, no assurance, limited assurance, reasonable assurance and absolute assurance. And no assurance is given for compilation, preparation of accounts. Limited assurance is given for review work. Reasonable assurance is given for audit work, and auditor can never give you absolute assurance, because audit work can never give you a guarantee whether the company's financial statement gives you 100% accuracy. Like your doctor can never give you guarantee you will last for 100 years or 10 years. So you are going to doctor and you are offering a visit. Doctor, please tell me or give me some medicine for by taking that medicine I will survive for 100 years. Can a doctor do this? Obviously not. So doctor can never give you absolute assurance or guarantee that you will survive or you will live for next 10 years or 12 years or 100 years. Similarly, regarding the audit report or the company's financial position, auditor can never give you 100% guarantee, because there are lots of reasons. We will discuss those reasons in details later on. What are the reasons? Because auditor is not working for full time, or auditor does not know everything in detail. So we will make a video later on regarding this, why the auditor cannot give you 100% guarantee. So I am not focusing on that part of the discussion, just I am telling you the level of assurance. So mainly we can say, for audit work, audit report, auditor gives reasonable assurance. For other work or review work, auditor gives limited assurance. So sometimes reasonable assurance is called positive assurance and limited assurance is called negative assurance. So negative assurance, that doesn't mean you are giving no assurance. Limited assurance is also kind of assurance. Now we see the pyramid that we have discussed just now, level of assurances. Here we see audit, review, compilation and financial statement preparation. So for audit work, auditor gives assurance service, and review work, auditor gives assurance services. And for audit work, auditor gives reasonable assurance that I discussed over here, and for review work, auditor gives limited assurance or negative assurance. And for other two steps, compilation and financial statement preparation, auditor gives no assurance. Auditor gives just only compilation or preparation of financial statements, no assurance. Here no assurance means also kind of assurance. No assurance, that doesn't mean auditor tells you nothing. So if you go to doctor or if you talk to doctor over phone, then the doctor will ask you some preliminary questions, and based on this question or based on that idea, your doctor is giving you some advice. That is also kind of assurance. Here no assurance, that doesn't mean the auditor is not giving assurance. Rather, auditor is helping the company or the management, giving some compilation work or financial statement preparation. That means your financial statement or the management's or the company's financial statement is preparing by some expertise, but they cannot give you any assurance. So we saw here four types of assurance. Here audit, reasonable assurance; for review, limited assurance; compilation and financial statement preparation, no assurance. That means a small amount of assurance given by the. Dear viewers, let us see the level of assurance in this table. So if you understand this table, it will give you the true picture or the entire picture of your assurance level and the type of assurance. In the first column we see a level of assurance, types of assurance and example of assurance, nature of work performed by the auditor, and example form of conclusion. That means what type of conclusion or what type of result given by the auditor to different audit reports, either audit report or review report. So viewers, this table is important for two aspects. One is it will explain the different types of level of assurances, and second one is what type of conclusion or result is given to the audit report. You will get the idea. Here last part, what you will write in your audit opinion, this is given, so you must keep in mind and you must memorize these words, because a small change in audit wording may affect on your audit report. That's why wording in audit report is very important. So sometimes you have to memorize what type of words you have to write, or else if you write in different, it will not carry any marks, rather it will not give you the true picture of your findings. So let us see. First one is absolute assurance, for example guarantee. So audit work can never give you guarantee or absolute assurance that we have seen earlier over here, like a doctor cannot give you a guarantee for survival of 100 years. Similarly, an auditor can never give you guarantee regarding the financial statement of the company. So this is not applicable, and nature of work not applicable, and example of conclusion not applicable. Now the reasonable assurance, this is given for audit of financial statement, and here example is an audit of financial statement. That means when you will audit financial statement, at the end of the audit you will give a reasonable assurance, which is called the maximum assurance given by the auditor. And for giving that maximum assurance, you need detailed testing, you need to collect evidence, you need to gather evidence from the company, and you need to substantiate that evidence to support the conclusion. That means for giving your reasonable assurance, you need evidence, you need documents, you need to ask the management, employees of the companies, and finally you will give or you will draw a conclusion. We believe the financial statements present are true and fair view. True and fair view, this word is very important for the auditor, and we will discuss in details later on what is true, what is fair, and what is true and fair, why this phrase is used in auditing repeatedly. So we will discuss later on another video. So we see reasonable assurance is given for audit work, and this is the example of conclusion. In the second one, we see limited assurance. It is given for a review of financial statements and other non-audit services, and usually this is less than the reasonable assurance. So what is the example? A review of financial statement, just you see what is the financial statement expresses, but not seen in deeply. And for doing this, you need preliminary inquiries and analysis, less detailed procedures. So you need not to go in details line by line or whatever, collecting lots of evidence or collecting lots of documents, you are proving them. So this is not required for your limited assurance. And form of conclusion, we see we have not become aware of any matters to cause us to believe the financial statements do not present a true and fair view, or nothing cause us to believe that the financial statement or the financial statements do not provide true and fair view. So this is called limited assurance. So this is different from your reasonable assurance. You see, we believe, and here we see nothing has come to our attention. So you see the differences in the wording. And third one, no assurance. No assurance means that doesn't mean you are not giving any assurance. Rather, this is a kind of assurance or a small amount of confidence given to the management or given to the company, like preparing financial statements. So your company's management or your client is requesting you, my accounting system is not properly recorded, or I do not have sufficient expertise, or I do not have any qualified chartered accountant in my accounts department. So please, my financial statement, I'll help my accounts department so that in near future they can maintain your system properly. So this is kind of work which is non-audit services given by the auditor, but usually the same team does not do this work. It is given by the another team of the firm or audit firm. Then they prepare financial statement according to the company's requirement, and here we see nature of work is preparation of financial statement, but they do not provide any conclusion regarding the preparation of financial statement. Here the auditor is strictly prohibited to give any conclusion. Even the auditor is not appointed to prepare the financial statement, rather the auditor is appointed to see whether the company's financial statement gives true and fair view. So again, if we see the above portion, in the you see the arrow going above, it is giving more assurance, and the arrow going down or bottom, this is giving you less assurance. So in a nutshell, if you understand this diagram, it is giving you what type of assurance you are giving, for what work, what type of example, what are the documents you require to give this assurance. Now in the meantime, you have understood what is the difference between audit and assurance. At a glance or in one sentence, if I tell you, audit is a part of assurance, or we can say an audit engagement is an assurance engagement, but not all assurance engagements are audit. That means one assurance engagement which give you the reasonable assurance, only that is called audit engagement or audit work. So audit is a part of assurance engagement. So assurance engagement we discussed earlier, rather I am giving you the definition once again, because this is important and you must keep in mind and you memorize this definition. An engagement in which a practitioner expresses a conclusion designed to enhance the degree of confidence of the intended users. That means the users will be confident, either stakeholders or shareholders, government, investors, creditors, shareholders will get some sort of confidence from this assurance engagement which is given by the auditor. Other than responsible party about the outcomes of the evaluation or measurement of a subject matter against a criteria. Anyway, this can be repetition but very important. International framework for assurance engagement gives two types of assurance engagement by the practitioners. One is reasonable assurance for audit and limited assurance for review work, that I discussed several times in this video. And reasonable assurance, what is reasonable assurance? We have discussed for audit work. Just I am showing here. I am not discussing in details because it will be the repetition of the same work. Again, the example of a reasonable assurance, what is that? The objective of an audit of financial statement is to enable the auditor to express an opinion whether the financial statements are prepared in all material aspects. This word is very, very important for the auditors, for the audit students, for the CA, ICM, SCA students, because if you do not know the materiality, then you cannot set the materiality threshold for auditing work. That's why materiality we will discuss in details in another video. Stay with us, you will get materiality video in details. So we are not focusing what is materiality now. An audit of financial statement is an assurance engagement, I discussed several times. And what can be the conclusion of your audit report? We believe the financial statements present a true and fair view. That means if your users of financial statement, if the users of audit report see this line, only this line in the audit report, then they will be very much happy. Yes, the company is performing very well. That means in total audit report or in total annual report of the company, the users or the shareholders expect only this line from the annual report, and from this annual report, 1 page or 2 pages, the investors, the government, the creditors, even all stakeholders only want to see this line from the audit report, or in our opinion the financial statements present a true and fair view. This small sentence gives the thorough picture of the company. That's why wording, I told you earlier, wording is very important in audit report. So you will memorize these words to give unqualified or unmodified audit report. Then limited assurance, there are some examples just I'm giving you keep in mind. Nothing has come to our attention that causes us to believe that the financial statements do not show true and fair view. Means we see there is nothing very important misstatements or disagreements. We can say financial statement is good. That means you are giving limited assurance because you have not checked all the things, or you are not supposed to check all evidence for your limited or negative assurance. So in few words, all audit engagements are assurance engagements, but not all assurance engagements are audit engagements. So I told you earlier, just I have given here again so that you can keep a note from here. And this one is also important one that will give you the difference between reasonable assurance and limited assurance, and what type of work we do for reasonable assurance and what type of work we do for limited assurance. You see, first one is criteria. Evidence taking. For reasonable assurance, we take sufficient and appropriate evidence, and for limited assurance, we gather sufficient and relevant evidence. So that means this is giving less importance, and here giving more importance. Risk on the task. Yes, obviously for reasonable assurance your risk is low. Why low? Because the auditor conducting a thorough, a detailed test, right? Collecting evidence, collecting documents, asking different employees, management, and based on their findings they are giving reasonable assurance. That means your risk is low. Similarly, when a doctor diagnoses thoroughly based on their test, MRI or whatever, in detail testing, your risk is low, and without test, just getting some symptoms, your risk is high. Here limited assurance risk is high because we are not gathering sufficient evidence. Conclusion. Auditor giving positive conclusion. Yes, the company's position is good, like this. In our opinion, the financial statements present a true and fair view. This is positive opinions, and the users or the shareholders will be happy. And for limited assurance, we give conclusion like negative assurance, not confident assurance, like that is the example is given. Nothing has come to our attention that causes us to believe that the financial statements do not show true and fair view. So there is a difference. That means we see there is no problem, actually it is okay. And assurance, obviously for audit work, for reasonable assurance your assurance level is high, and here for limited work or review work your assurance level is middle or low. Just this table visualize the difference between audit work and review work. Then we see audit report versus review report. Same thing for auditing or for doing the reasonable assurance, the auditor gives audit report. When the limited assurance is done, then it is called review report. So an audit is the examination of financial reports for an entity in order to determine whether the information presented reflects the financial position of the entity at a given date. That means on a certain date, whether everything is good, whether everything is right, whether everything shows true and fair view. That is called audit report or audit engagement. And an audit aims to identify material misstatements. Again, I am telling you, we will discuss later on what is material misstatements, what is immaterial misstatements in the financial statement, and include both, but not limited to misstatements resulting from the fraud where reasonable suspicion exists. Now I am not going to details discussion, just you see this. And review report, same thing. A review provides limited assurance rather than a reasonable assurance. So this is going to be repetition. I think you have understood in the meantime what is review and what is audit. Now again, from a different angle we can discuss. One is audit, another one is review. For reasonable assurance, nature of work, detailed testing and substantiating of balances. Example, the financial statements present true and fair view. This is the word that the investors seek in the audit report. And the advantage or the good thing is high level of assurance and higher level of examination. We give positive assurance, and for giving this positive assurance we need detailed test or substantive test. We will discuss again in details. And the negatives or the problem is it takes time, it can cost more, then requires a registered company auditor. That means if the auditor is not registered, or if the CA firm is not registered in the ICAP, then the auditor cannot do the audit work and they cannot give the reasonable assurance. And for limited assurance, nature of work inquires an analysis of less detailed, and the conclusion form is we have not become aware of any matters that causes us to believe, or that matters to cause us believe the financial statements do not present a true and fair view. And here the positive thing is generally cheaper than the audit, usually because we do less test or less detailed test, and does not require a registered company auditor. Sometimes companies internal audit department can do this, and non-registered auditor also can perform if they have sufficient expertise. And the problem is lower level of assurance, usually less confidence. Users are less confident about this because less tests, less documents are required, and less likely to pick up financial reporting issues. Here not major financial reporting issues are not considered. And lower level of examination, obviously examination system or the auditor takes less evidence from the management. So the same diagram we discussed again, but we see here in audit more emphasis is given assurance services and not assurance services. And here you see the arrow line, independence, complexity of testing, effort and involvement, everything is more in audit report, and gradually when you will go down then it is less. That's why this arrow shows when you will go up and up and up, this is more important, this is lesser and the lesser. That means is going down it is giving less importance, and going up it is giving more importance for all aspects. Now again it is discussed in another angle, nature of service, audit, review, agreed upon procedures, compilation. This is given for audit work, this is given for review work. So everything I have discussed in details. Now in another angle, just I have shown you for your understanding. And here another one is review of level of assurance. The same thing, audit for reasonable high, level of assurance high, and expression of opinion positive, and for limited assurance expression of opinion is negative. And for agreed upon procedures, we will see what is agreed upon procedures. For agreed upon procedures, level of assurance is nil because the auditor can never give you assurance for agreed upon procedures and agreed upon works. That means for non-audit work like cash management service, preparation of financial statement, preparation of company's internal report. For these things, for these agreed upon procedures, no assurance, and expression reports to actual or factual findings. Only they report based on their findings. Now many students ask question, what is agreed upon procedure? Very simple, this is required by the management. Management wants, I want this work, so please do this for us. That is called non-audit services. So an agreed upon procedure is a standard a company or client outlines when it hires an external party to perform an audit on a specific test or business process. Like the company wants to see the cause of cash embezzlement. The company or the management does not have enough expertise to identify where the fraud takes place. That's why they are appointing auditor for giving agreed upon procedures or non-audit work. So I am giving you some examples so that you understand what are the works for agreed upon procedures. First one is due diligence when buying or selling a business. Say Mr. X wants to buy Y company, or we can say X company wants to buy Y company, but the X company does not have sufficient expertise to revalue or value the Y company. That's why X company is appointing an expert or an auditor to identify the value of Y company. That is called due diligence procedure, and based on their findings, then the X company will offer the value of Y company. Then verifying cash balance, that I told you earlier. Check security balances, income tax provision. The company may not have expert tax practitioner or VAT practitioner, also why they are seeking help from the auditors regarding how to minimize income tax, or you will understand these terms if you see this special reviews of loan portfolios, reviews of internal control and environmental management system. This is top to topics nowadays because there are many companies who are damaging the environment. That's why sometimes auditor gives some non-audit services how to comply the rules and regulations given by the government to keep the environment safe. So if the company breaks the rules of environmental safety, company may shut down. That's why company's management may seek help from the auditors regarding this aspect. Then royalty agreements compliance, employer compliance, payrolls, accidental provisions for other benefits, purchasing department, what should be the purchase departments, how the purchase departments can work. In such types in cases, the auditor gives some non-audit work or agreed upon procedures, but for this the auditor will not give any conclusion, just they will work based on their factual findings. Now we see another small portion, why are audits and reviews required. In the meantime, you have understood why required, because audit and review work gives sort of confidence to the users of the financial statement, like to the shareholders, to the stakeholders of the company, like lenders, employees, analytics, creditors, governments, communities, because they are seeking third party expertise or third party opinion regarding the company. That's why audit and review work is important. So dear viewers, I hope you have watched the entire video, and if you need any feedback, we will make a chapter review, and ask me or put your comment in your comment box so that I can understand what is your requirement and what type of problems you are facing. And till then, you stay home, stay in safe, and see this video carefully and follow my advice that I give you. If you need to memorize any word, memorize them and memorize them as it is for your better and future understanding. Thank you everybody. Bye bye. সুপ্রিয় দর্শকবৃন্দ, আশা করি এতক্ষণ আমাদের সাথেই ছিলেন এবং ভিডিওটি উপভোগ করেছেন। ভিডিওটি দেখার জন্য ধন্যবাদ। আমরা চলুন এক নজর দেখে নেই আগামী পর্বে আপনাদের জন্য কি কি থাকছে। Dear viewers, hope you have enjoyed the video audit and assurance and types of assurance, and I have showed you in details and which area auditor gives more assurance and which work the auditor gives less assurance, negative assurance or no assurance. In next video we will see the criteria for assurance engagement. That means what are the things you must consider for giving assurance engagement, such as the parties of the assurance engagement and the things to be considered for assurance engagement. This is very important one, because from first step to last step, if you do not know what are the steps that should be maintained, you will fail to audit the company properly. So invite you everybody to watch that part, and till then please stay home, stay safe, goodbye.